New Migos, out Friday. New Migos, out Friday. In it. It just is, in it. So here we have a new track from Migos. Pretty influential when it comes to like modern hip-hop music. I think their early 2010s output really laid a lot of the groundwork for a lot of newer cats, I guess you could call them, in the mainstream of rap and trap and pop rap, anything, whatever you want to label it as. It's been a big part of what Migos were doing early on, and I think as questionable as some of their music is, in my opinion, I think a lot of it is quite weak. It would be hard to deny their influence, but I don't necessarily think, influence equals good music anyway, because the good music part is just going to be subjective to you, but the influence usually is a bit easier to measure. There's no maths equation on how good music is, but there's usually a pretty good indicator as to what something has influenced or what an artist has managed to achieve on a mainstream level. And I think Migos are up there with some of the biggest influences of the 2010s. So of course I think I'm always interested in seeing what they do. This new track, thought I'd give it a go. I'm hoping that the Migos flow isn't as apparent. I think sometimes they just rely a bit too much on the same stuff. A bit like DaBaby. DaBaby did that one thing one time and it worked. So for the rest of his songs, he just thought, well, let's keep doing that. I think Migos hit a point where they just carried on doing what they do on every track, and it just gets a bit stale. So let's see what this new track is like. If it's different to what they usually do and I still don't like it, that would be pretty ironic. But I just want a good track, and hopefully this is what this track is.
Stop, we good, stop, chill, we on, scale, let's go, straight on take, big kicking shit popping out daily, go, on the island, it's together, won't fuck with you home, I don't do the fake kicking, they go a right, straightening but straightening, don't not get straightening but straightening, you don't get shit straight, you I get the cookie like my grandma made it, I get the kids and the pounds and the babies, and the bricks came white like span, championship, this is 3P, shoot out the window like Dizzy and Freaky.
This hook's just not that good. Just don't. I don't know.
Terminator working money, you were great. Terminator spin an op block, rock about baby. Made it top stop, made it mama hey. We were trapping that trace to the straight and your buddy, you straight, you strong. We good at them, nobody talk. We good at them. New color and start the fall. Message for somebody stretching. Straightenin'. Yo, don't not get straightening but straightening.
Yeah, whatever, I guess. It was typical for them, and that isn't always a bad thing if you're playing to your strengths, but in this case, it was just really mediocre. Like, the hook wasn't that good, nothing was really that catchy about it, the verses didn't really stand out. They actually feel like they're blending together in terms of their voices a bit more now. Maybe it's because I've not listened to them in a long time, but yeah, they didn't really sound that distinct in their verses, which was weird. Like, I'm sure I used to be able to pick out like who was who immediately, but I don't think I can these days. Maybe it's just having heard lots of music since the last time I sat and listened to a Migos song, maybe something to do with that, or they just actually aren't really that stand out as members, because they all bring similar things to the table, right? I mean, that's not a controversial thing to say, is it? They all do sound quite similar and they do similar things, which is kind of weird for a group. You usually expect one person to at least do something slightly different to the others, just to bring variation, not even in like a way to be competitive. I mean, competitiveness is part of like group mentality and stuff. There's always going to be that a part of you that makes you want to go, no, I want to be the best one. But even without that, just a bit of variation would be something you'd look for, right? Just one example, I feel, Injury Reserve, Grogs and Richie sound nothing alike. Like, if they sounded exactly the same, I think their songs wouldn't be as good. Flatbush Zombies, for example, Michi doesn't sound like any of the other members, and that's a good thing. To see them be as famous as they are and drop a track like this that just isn't very distinct or, stand out in any real way, it's kind of weird. Like, it's kind of weird. I mean, I don't know if it's indicative of what people just want compared to what I want with my music. That clearly is part of it. You know, the masses reach out for specific things. And obviously you as an individual don't necessarily have to want to consume that thing just like everyone else with everything. But yeah, we're hitting a point now where Migos are losing their stature, I think, in music. Like, a lot of modern trap artists are doing things just a bit more interesting than this these days, and at least providing better hooks than this. This wasn't a good hook, so yeah, not a fan of this. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure there'll be someone that thinks this is really good, so if you do, please let me know. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already as well, and goodbye.